Hello viewers. Welcome to Seek Wisdom. First of all, we thank you for playing out this video. Today, we present you the summary of the book, Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. This book offers a proven framework for improving every day. James Clear reveals practical strategies that will teach you exactly how to form good habits, break bad ones, and master the tiny behaviors that lead to remarkable results. We hope you like it. Let's get started. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. Habits shape your identity. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline nearly down to 0. Time magnifies the margin between success and failure. It will multiply whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make time your enemy. If you want better results, then forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. Goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. A handful of problems arise when you spend too much time thinking about your goals and not enough time designing your systems. Our habits should be a part of our identity and the starting point of building it. Most of us get this wrong. We start with outcomes and work backwards towards our identity. But when a habit comes from who we are, it serves as the best form of intrinsic motivation. If you find yourself struggling to build a good habit or break a bad one, it is not because you have lost your ability to improve. It is often because you have not yet crossed what James calls the plateau of latent potential. When you finally break through the plateau of latent potential, people will call it an overnight success. Authors for Laws of Human Behavior Change stem from the concept of the habit loop. This loop comprises 4 stages. 1. Cue. 2. Craving. 3. Response. 4. Reward. Here is a brief description of these. Stage 1. Cue. The cue acts as the trigger, initiating the good habit loop, and can be anything from a specific time to an emotional state. Stage 2. Craving. Following the cue, there is a craving, a motivational force representing the desire for the reward associated with the habit. Stage 3. Response. The response is the actual behavior or action performed in response to the cue and craving, constituting the habit itself. Stage 4. Reward. Finally, the reward is the positive outcome or satisfaction resulting from completing the habit, reinforcing the loop, and increasing the likelihood of habit repetition. Based on these 4 steps, there are 4 laws that help you build a successful habit loop. In each law, there shall be 3 to 4 tactics for habit building and 1 tactic to break it. Let's start with the first law. Law number 1, make it obvious. Are you aware of the habits you must build and break? If not, there's no way you can train your mind to act a certain way. You see, human minds act on cues and bad habits repeat. When you experience something repeatedly, your reaction to it becomes natural. There's a cue that gives your brain a signal to act a certain way, and your behavior or response becomes automatic. We might not think it's real, but invisible cues trigger your minds. To pick up on these cues and automate behaviors, you've got to become more aware. Here are some ways to do this. First technique is habit scorecards. A habit scorecard is like a checklist where you jot down your daily activities. Then, you figure out if each habit is positive, negative, or neutral in its impact. The goal of your habit scorecard is to gain awareness and identify patterns contributing to or hindering progress. To create a habit scorecard, all you need to do is list your regular daily activities at work or home. Categorize each activity as positive, negative, or neutral. Rate each habit based on its overall impact. Understand how your current behaviors affect productivity. Look at the lowest score, submit completed tasks by the deadline. Now, observe how the tasks related to your submissions also have a low score. If you want to change this and submit your tasks on time, you need to work more on high-priority tasks. Check progress and adjust plans. Reflect on the day and make better plans for tomorrow. Wrap up the tasks you set for today. If not, you will continue to miss deadlines, and the burden will shift to the next day. Next technique is implementation intention. Implementation intention involves planning when and where to take specific actions to reach your goals. First, spot the gap in your existing habits. For instance, you finish the task but don't allocate time for reflecting on the day. Now, set a goal like this: I will reflect on my day and plan for tomorrow at 5 p.m. Secondly, you can use habit stacking, a technique to pair a new habit with an existing one. For example, after I am done working on my current tasks, I will reflect on the priority tasks I couldn't complete. Lastly, induce the cues of better habits in your environment. As motivation is overrated, the environment often matters more. Now, using this law to breaking a bad habit, make it invisible. Reduce exposure to the cue that causes bad habits to eliminate them. For example, you wait for the day to end to go out for a drink, spend time with your spouse, or do something productive. But towards the end of the day, you find yourself browsing through social media. In this scenario, you must distance yourself from these cues, which is your phone, in this case, until you do what you intend to do. Make it a pact not to use social media before planning the next day. Keep your phone silent and eliminate any other distractions in your environment as a part of your time management strategies. Coming to second law, which states, make it attractive. In second law, author mentions that habits operate on a dopamine-driven feedback loop. When dopamine goes up, so does the urge to take action. The anticipation of rewards is so powerful that it pushes you to act. Use of temptation bundling to achieve that. In this technique, you pair up an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Let's say you aim to minimize distractions and stay focused during work. But you also want to watch a podcast you love. Here's what you can do. Designate specific time blocks for focused work, say 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Listen to one episode of the podcast you love when you take a break at 11 a.m. For instance, commit to 90 minutes of focused work on your marketing report. Take a 20-minute break, during which you can watch the podcast. This way, you train your mind to work consistently for 90 minutes before you get to do what you want. You can also combine habit stacking with temptation bundling techniques to improve your productivity. Here's the formula. After current habit, I will habit I need. After habit I need, I will habit I want. It looks something like this. After lunch, I will work on my marketing reports for 90 minutes. After working for 90 minutes, I will watch one episode of my favorite podcast. Another crucial aspect that helps is surrounding yourself with the right tribe. If you hang out with people who hate their jobs, you will start hating your job, too. But if you hang out with a crowd discussing progress, motivation, and goals, you will likely reflect on yours and set the bar higher for yourself. Using this habit to break bad habits, reprogram your mind. Let's say you wake up at 9 every morning and you have to leave to work at 10. You've been trying to break this loop and want to wake up early. So you keep telling yourself, I have to wake up at 5 a.m., but I'm unable to. With a little shift in attitude, you can break this habit. Just replace have to with get to. I get to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and feel the pleasant breeze, exercise, and reflect on my personal goals. The idea is to associate hard habits with positive experiences. Now comes third law, make it easy. The most effective form of learning is practice, not planning. The more you repeat a habit, the more your brain gets used to it. The structure of your brain changes and you become efficient in it. It is scientifically proven that repeating a habit leads to physical changes in the brain. The amount of time you have been performing a habit is not as important as the number of times you have performed it. Here is the first technique under this law. The law of least effort. We as humans naturally gravitate towards the things that require the least effort. That's where an environment shift helps. You need to create an environment where doing the hard thing is as easy as possible. For this, first technique is the 2-minute rule. Our brain is programmed to avoid doing difficult things. Throughout our days, we make many decisions. For example, the decision to complete your work or watch another episode of your favorite series on Netflix. Habits are immediate actions. When starting a new habit, author suggests you should follow the 2-minute rule. Anything new you take up shouldn't take longer than 2 minutes. Now, you might think that's ridiculous, but you can break down any habit into a 2-minute version like. If you want to build a reading habit, you can start with reading 1 page a day. If you want to start doing yoga for 30 minutes, you can start by taking out the yoga mat. To use this law for breaking bad habits, make it impractical. Technology plays a significant role here. Let's say you spend excessive time on social media during work hours. You can install an app blocker that automates social media blocking during certain hours. Coming to law number 4, make it satisfying. You are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. While building great abs on the first day of gymming sounds impossible, there is another way to look at it. Here is the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. To make habits inevitable, you need to feel successful immediately in some way. If you put the above laws into practice, making things obvious, appealing, and effortless, you're more likely to carry out the behavior. But what if you do it only that one time? That's where making it satisfying increases the likelihood of doing it again. Let's say you've set a goal to exercise regularly. After each workout, you treat yourself to a healthy smoothie or a favorite snack. By rewarding yourself with something enjoyable after exercising, you make the activity satisfying. As a result, you're more inclined to repeat the workout routine because you link it with a positive and satisfying experience. The idea is to associate immediate pleasures to continue moving towards your big goals. Next technique is habit tracker. Imagine you're convinced you're making progress, but suddenly you find yourself feeling lost and confused without realizing how it happened. A habit tracker can be a lifesaver. It helps you monitor your progress with new habits. By visualizing and measuring these habits, you get solid proof of your progress. It creates a streak where you keep working on the habits you're building. To breaking bad habits, use this law by getting an accountability partner. Having an accountability partner is great because they offer support, encouragement, and a sense of responsibility. Sharing goals with someone who checks in on our progress boosts motivation and keeps us committed to our objectives. Knowing that someone else is aware of our goals and holds us accountable can provide a sense of external motivation to stay on track and avoid slacking off or falling back into old habits. Here is the summary of all the 4 laws and the various techniques discussed in a tabular form. Now say, you have changed your habits, developed new good habits, broken old bad habits. Now the question comes, how to stay motivated. Here comes the Goldilocks rule, which states that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. The greatest threat to success is not failure but boredom. As habits become routine, they become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. It's the ability to keep going when work isn't exciting that makes the difference. Professionals stick to the schedule, amateurs let life get in the way. While making any change in habit, please note that you have to be patient, as the progress in habit formation is often not immediately visible. This is a gradual evolution. We do not change by snapping our fingers and deciding to be someone entirely new. We change bit by bit, day by day, habit by habit. We are continually undergoing micro-evolution of the self. Do you know, there is also a downside of creating good habits. The upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside is that we stop paying attention to little errors. Reflection and review is a process that allows you to remain conscious of your performance over time. The tighter we cling to an identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. Here we shall wind up the video. We hope you like it. Stay tuned. We shall be back with another video soon. Till then, be happy, be safe.